two really simple things I'm going to say to you that I think are really important, and they have both to do with being able to execute everything cleanly and never kind of fade out, especially vocally. One of the things that's happening is our vocal production is somewhat uneven among members. And when I say uneven, I'm on like several levels. So some people are, I think, are using a sound that gets airy. They get air in the voice a little bit. Now think about yourself when you're singing, and think about how solid you were. So versus if I were to go, versus that's not a volume difference, right? Versus I can kind of do the same volume, sort of. But there are two different kind of approaches to creating sound. We need inhalers in here, everybody. So I wonder if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on how solid you think your voice was during that performance. I'm curious how you'd rate yourself. If you really think about it, like 10 is the most solid you could sing, and 1 is like this. 5's like this. Where do you think you would fall? Because I think a lot of us are like defaulting a little bit to kind of what comes out naturally. And for a lot of us, when we get going, we start to get out of breath, and so it gets breath like this. So if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 right now on that solidity of sound, why don't you show me what you think you might have been doing? Think about it. Just think back. Okay. So, keep your hands out. So, obviously, there's a bunch of room to make that better right off the bat. Okay. The other thing is, some of you are just like really working really, really hard. Now, here's the interesting thing. Sometimes working too hard can be a bad thing. It's actually not just about working too hard. It's more about how are you working and how are you getting the work done. And in some places, choreographically, I think we're working too hard. And I'm going to hopefully help you with that a little bit, and we'll just talk about that a little bit. What I'm talking about is, there's a way that I can do choreography, and I can be like, I'm doing this hard, and I'm hitting everything. And this way I can hit it very hard, and I'm not expending. Do you see the difference? There's all this extra energy. My core is going all around. There's a lot of extra stuff. And I feel like there's a lot of extra going on. That makes you tired. This makes you tired. Versus. Do you see the difference? What looks different between the two? Yes? Start trying too hard. What else? Yes?
One where you don't move as much as before.
Did you notice the one where I don't move as much seems cleaner? How many people notice that? Things that make us go, So actually, by doing less work, we might look cleaner. Ooh, that's weird. Strange. Part of it to me is like the core of your body, like when you're doing choreography. Like if you look, I think what's really interesting is look at my head, my face, and see what happens to it if I do this. Versus what? Do you see something different in here? What's different? Yes.
It's more stable.
More stable, right? If you look at the core of my body. Okay. not doing, oh look, you see this? Now there's places in choreography for this, right? But not all the time. And just because I do, I don't know, I think I'm going to move. There's a way to go. Like this, and like, you see what I'm talking about? If you guys can figure out how to cut your movement in half during the choreography, that's like 50% of all this extra. So where you're like, instead of, notice all of a sudden now this is all breaking, right? Notice how this is like, all this is breaking, and it's keeping this, keeping it here, not letting you get into this. And that happens in some cases where you have isolations and stuff, but not in general stuff, right? Keeping this here versus that simple shoulder, that simple extra shoulder. Now look at all the work I'm doing. This is a lot of work. This wears me out. I get a little tired doing that, right? Versus keeping it here. Okay? So I think that hurts your sound. That hurts because you get, I'm tired. Of course I'm old, so that makes a difference. But I think it gets you get worn out doing that. So I think that's important. Is how can you like get your core set up so you don't do that? And the second thing is right away, I think you can make a big, huge improvement if nobody sings airy. Now, the weird thing is you probably will be actually less taxed and out of breath if you use more of the breath to make sound. So I'm curious. Oh, I need music. Can you help me get some music going? So.